Most of the times, parents are asking me that why should my child pursue ACCA and not CA? And to all of them, I have a simple reply. It is never a choice between ACCA and CA. You guys first decide if you want to pursue CA or not. CA is extremely well recognized in India and across the world, is the one which has signing authority in India, and it has tremendous value without any doubt. However, a lot of people now are saying no to CA because it's either very time consuming. We all know that it takes a minimum of 4.5 to 5 years to complete your first attempt. If you clear it all, which means it can go for 6, 7, 8 years for many students. Secondly, the passing rate is extremely low, which is actually a huge reason why CA has so much of value. But from a student's perspective, that is something which is daunting. People don't know that if they'll clear, and if they clear after 5, 6, 7 years, are they still looking at pursuing that same field which they thought of when they were 16, 17, 18? So for all these reasons, people say no to CA, and if that's the case, then I would say ACCA is the best option. That being said, in this video, we are going to talk about the differences between CA and ACCA. Not only just to help you guys again make a basic decision between the two, but to make an informed decision, not because others are doing it, not because somebody just has scared you about CA or made you feel that international opportunities are more, just because you've not heard much about ACCA, you basically lean onto another qualification. This should solve most of your doubts. Alright, with that, let's just first talk about a few basic similarities. So CA and ACCA both are Chartered Accounting qualifications. CA is of India, ACCA is the same but at a global level. The body for CA, which handles the curriculum, sets the exams and gives the certificate, is called ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. And for ACCA, the body is called ACCA, the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. Obviously, ICAI is based out of India, ACCA is based out of UK, but it has offices in Bombay, Gurgaon and Bangalore in India. Both cover more or less the same curriculum. If you're a chartered accountant and I'm an ACCA, we do cover the same things on accounts, on tax, on audit, on financial management, on costing, a little bit on law, a little bit on business. However, the details sometimes vary with subjects like taxation and law. Last bit is the value, the recognition of CAs and ACCAs across are quite similar depending on certain situations. For example, in India, an ACCA and CA are hired at the same position in multiple profiles like advisory, even for that matter, audit, as well as if they're working for a brand or industrial company. But when it comes to Indian tax, for example, obviously Indian CAs are more recognized, more in demand. Whereas if it's international opportunities, then in that case, ACCA has higher demand. But if you average it out, then they both are essentially CA qualifications that have a lot of recognition in the market. So first of all, let me just jump into the eligibility aspect. So ICA or Indian CA, you can only pursue after 12th, whereas ACCA you can pursue after 10th. If you're a graduate or already a CA shifting to ACCA, ACCA has exemptions which you're eligible for. So for example, if you're a BCom student, you get 4 out of 13 papers exempted in ACCA. If you're a fully qualified CA, you get 9 out of 13 papers exempted in ACCA. But if you're an ACCA pursuing CA, or if you're a graduate pursuing CA, you don't get any such exemptions in the CA qualification. Next, let me talk about the academic structure. So for Indian CA, it is broken down into 3 levels: CA Foundation, Inter CA or IPCC, and the final CA level. Whereas for ACCA, it's also broken down into 3 levels: the knowledge, skill, and professional level. The subjects, like I said, more or less are the same. In CA Foundation, you cover 4 subjects. In Inter CA, you cover 2 groups of 4 subjects, and final CA again, you cover 2 groups of 4 subjects each. Whereas in ACCA, knowledge level is 3 papers, skill level is 6 papers, professional level is 4 papers. Alright, now when it comes to the exam attempt, so your Indian CA, the exams happen twice in a year. It's every May and November approx, and ACCA, the exams are every March, June, September, December. When it comes to the passing percentage, right? We all know that CA's passing percentage is in single digits, anywhere between 5 to 10% land up clearing, which means out of a class of 100, you have only 5 people who will clear the first attempt, most likely. And in ACCA, the global passing rate is 40%, which is 4 out of 10. By the way, at Zell, we have a 75% passing rate, which means out of a class of 10 pursuing ACCA with Zell, 7 to 8 of them clear. So the difference in people who are confident of clearing is much higher, right? Next comes the paper pattern. So CA is in the traditional way. Foundation level is it's complete MCQs, and second and third level is solving but on paper. ACCA, the first level is pure MCQs, objective. Second level is a mix of objective and subjective, and the final level is pure subjective, but it's all computer based. Now, what is the real, what are the other differences? Why is it that if they both have similar value and similar knowledge, why is there such a vast difference in the CA passing rate, in the duration, etc., etc.? And the reasons are quite simple. So first of all, the problem is not the level of difficulty of the CA exam. If I take the final CA level accounting paper and I take the ACCA professional level accounting paper and I compare them, or you give it to a chartered accountant, the level of difficulty of both the papers is actually quite similar. The problem lies in the fact that there is a group or aggregate system for ICAI students. What that means is, let's just take the final CA level for a second. You have two groups, like I said, and each group has 4 exams. Now, students can take one group at a time or both groups. Let's just assume for a second you take only one group, which means you have to give 4 exams. The 4 exams are spread over a week. Now, per exam, you need to score 40 on 100 for each of them. And in total, you need 200 out of 400 because each paper is 100 marks. So that's a total of 400. You need to score 200. So you need 50% as a total, or what we call aggregate, and individually you need 40 marks per paper. Now, it's sometimes difficult for people to give all the 4 exams, clear all of them in a way that each of them are 40 marks and together they're 200. If by any chance a student misses one paper, scores 39, and there are a million cases where I've heard over the last 10 years where this has happened. Somebody just missed it by 1 mark. That student has to give all the 4 papers again. And that too after half a year, because the exams are only twice a year. This makes it extremely tedious and difficult. Whereas for ACCA, let's say you give the same 4 papers. ACCA you can give first of all 1 paper at a time, 2 papers, 3 or 4 per attempt. So most of the times we just made a different video on the way you should plan your ACCA, and the way I would suggest is per attempt you should give between 1 to 2 papers. But just to compare, let's say you give 4 papers in ACCA in 1 attempt, and like CA, you first of all in ACCA just need 50 marks per paper. Let's say like CA, you missed 1 paper by 1 mark, you scored 49 and the rest you scored 50. In ACCA, you can move, you've passed the 3 papers, you have to give the last one which you didn't clear with the next 3 papers. So you're always moving ahead, and the exam attempts are every 3 months. So there is always energy and time for you to catch up and not actually wait for too long to give all the exams again and again and again. Finally, the articleship bit. In CA, you're supposed to mandatorily complete your articleship between your IPCC and your final CA, which means if you've not completed your articleship, you cannot give your final CA. That means that you have to wait out the time of your articleship before even attempting, which again has its own challenges. In ACCA, you have to have the same 3 years of work experience, but the flexibility is quite high. You can complete your work during, before or after ACCA. So while we always recommend students to go through the same effort that you go through as a CA article, which is work as an ACCA from the time you reach your second level, skill level, that's not mandatory. So people they need to focus more on exams. If they have college plus exams and they're just all caught up, you can always just focus on studies, clear the exams, and then count your articleship experience. If you already have some experience in finance and accounts, it's all counted. Unlike CA as well, right, where you have to work in a CA firm. Even though we recommend always ACCA students that please work in a CA firm, you don't have to work in a CA firm. So if you take these primary differences of the group system or the aggregate system, about the number of exam attempts and the fact that you are mandated to do articleship when in both the courses, you get to realize why that individual papers might be the same, but the system is such that it takes longer for CAs to actually complete their qualification, even though they might be as bright as those of ACCAs. I remember when I was 1 year into PwC, for those who don't know, I started my ACCA post-12. I completed it along with my graduation where I had 2 years of work experience, and then I got a job in PwC at the level of a CA. I was in PwC for 1 year, and at the end of the first year, I was wishing my friends who had started CA when I started ACCA after 12, I was wishing them best of luck for their first final CA attempt, because it took them that long to complete inter CA or IPCC and finish the articleship and prepare for final CA. And now, after my 1 year of experience, when I was calling them, I was hoping that they would clear, but there was a chance that they might not. Some of them actually did not. The ones who did would not get a job all the time in companies like the Big Four, like PwC. And even if some of them who cleared final CA in the first attempt and got a job in some companies like this, as an ACCA, I was still 1.5 years ahead of them. So when you see the advantages of time is when you say that, okay, I would prefer doing ACCA or CA. Like I said, don't get too influenced by anything. Remember the first question. Say no to CA before you make up your mind on ACCA. Lastly, the international opportunities. So in India, like I said, obviously CA has a lot of recognition. ACCAs we are right now working with the Big Four and Grant Thornton and BDO and these kind of companies to place ACCAs over there because they're open in a lot of the department. But CA always has some certain value, and especially for that of signing authority. Once again, if you don't know what this means, please visit our other videos. You'll understand what the details actually mean. Whereas for ACCA, the signing authority takes place in many other countries, but not India. And international opportunities sitting here in India or working for a couple of years and then having the ability to go to countries like Dubai, like Singapore, like Canada, like Australia, and of course, countries like UK. ACCA is very well recognized across. So you definitely have international opportunity. Final bit, guys, on the fee structure. So CA, you can complete overall between 2 to 3 lakhs, all in, with your exam attempts, with your all the mandatory body fees and the training. Whereas for ACCA, it can take between 4 to 5 lakhs depending on a lot of situations. But that is also including everything. The registration fees, subscription fees, exam fees, exemptions if you get, as well as the training. And of course, this is with partners because we get a lot of fee waivers from the body. So if you register directly, it's a little different. But this is the body fees this is the ACCA fees that Zell students actually have to go through. However, the difference is such that if you complete ACCA in 3 years, by the 4th year, you've already made up your entire investment of ACCA. And in CA, you'll make it up also instantly, but it might take you a longer time before you can actually start earning as a qualified CA. So I think, guys, these are the primary differences between CA and ACCA. I'd love to hear from you guys. What do y'all think? It's not a debate between better. The right question to ask is which is the right course for you. And I hope that this video gives you guys enough clarity to make some decision which is as per your customized, personalized situation rather than what everybody else is doing. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else we can add.